I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
Sweet Baby Client admits game failed so hard that it ended their franchise and caused major layoffs. I think it's like what? Like, I want to say third or fourth game that Sweet Baby Inc. shut down.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be looking at yet another potential lesson for the gaming industry that will likely fall on deaf ears. Now, we've all heard of the phrase, the Sweet Baby Kiss of Death, where basically any game that works with Sweet Baby Inc. ends up failing. But today we're looking at something that goes beyond just killing a game. It appears that a partnership with Sweet Baby has not only killed a game, but an entire franchise and possibly a studio to go with it. So here's the headline from Fandom Pulse. Sweet Baby Inc. infected Reflector.
I guess Unknown 9 remains unknown. I didn't know Unknown 9 was a thing until after it flopped. I think a lot of people know about the game only because people were laughing how badly that Unknown remains unknown.
Reflector Entertainment admits Unknown 9 Awakening was a failure. Now, this is actually pretty surprising. It's rare to see a studio just straight up say their game was a failure. I mean, we see Firewalk Studios all the way to the end patting themselves on the back for Concord despite being one of the biggest failures in gaming history. But Reflector Entertainment has come out and just straight up said, yeah, our game failed. And really, there's no way else to describe it. Unknown 9 Awakening was a failure for many different reasons. It came out with the typical DEI chin, you know, the crimson-chinned female model as the protagonist. And also this game was very poorly marketed. A lot of people didn't even know this game existed until it was already live and ready for purchase. And the numbers really reflect.
Even when it was live for purchase, a lot of people, what was the peak they have ever received? It couldn't even break 300 as a peak. Oh my god. There's 12 people playing in the past 12. Jesus, this is bad.
Like that. This is absolutely terrible. 10 in-game players right now, and this game has only been out for a few months. And you can see the review rating of 35%. People genuinely hated this game. Not many people gave it a chance, but when they did, the ones who played it actually hated it too. And the numbers are just horrible. Right now, like I said, 10 players right now. The 24-hour peak is 18 players, and the all-time peak, which was right on release, was at 285. And a lot of
this is bad.
Those people out of that 285 were just checking this game out of morbid curiosity because they got the game for free. I believe
most of them were probably people who were making content on it, how bad it is.
It came with a PC part bundle, and a lot of people discovered the day after release that, oh, I had this as a part of the bundle, I'm going to check this game out. And it was just really morbid curiosity, and a lot of these people played the game for 2 seconds and said, yep, that's enough. So numbers like this are abysmal for any game, but for a game that clearly...
At that point, I think if you worked on this game, you probably should, like, change the industries.
Yeah, because this is not it, bro.
Had a high budget and was working with Bandai Namco. This is just inexcusable and something that is really, really bad. A reflection on the modern audience and what happens when you appeal to that sort of a group. Now, there's something very interesting about Reflector Entertainment, the studio that developed this game. They were acquired by Bandai Namco a few years ago, and the goal was to basically make an entire franchise out of Unknown 9 Awakening. And that has a very shocking parallel to what Sony did when they acquired Firewalk Studios a few years ago with the intention of making Concord a transcendent piece of media that was not only going to produce games, it was also going to produce shows and movies and novels and what have you. It's supposed to be an entire franchise. And we're seeing basically the same thing happen here with Reflector Entertainment, and it's backfired.
Okay, hearing this always makes me wonder, they not make any, peer testing? Or did they specifically pick and choose the people who give them feedback before they release, creating a completely biased testing group? That's why it crashed so hard.
I think so. Probably that's the case.
How do you release a completely new franchise, a completely new IP, without testing how it's coming across to people?
Absolutely horribly. And if you look at their website, they still have this on here. This is the entire story worlds, or the intended story worlds of Unknown 9. You can see they had a video
Oh
game
my
which they already
God.
released, but they're also going to make a comic book and a
Okay.
scripted podcast and a novel trilogy and a web series. Like, it's absolutely insane. They had such ambitious goals for Unknown 9.
This is just depressing. Like, they actually thought they're doing something. They were planning a web series as well.
And it crashed and failed on its first step. It's amazing that Bandai Namco thought purchasing Reflector was going to be a good investment on their behalf. And if you look at Reflector Entertainment, it's not too surprising that they are big on DEI. So
Yeah, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee.
Oh gosh.
This is just right away a red flag saying we don't hire people with skills. We hire them based on a checkbox.
you can see this right here. They have a Diversity and Inclusion Committee. This is posted right on their website. It says this. This employee-run committee's mission is to raise awareness and accountability about issues related to diversity and inclusion. Its goal is to promote dialogue and action to ensure diversity.
Absolutely hot take. What if instead of you looking into how to do checkbox hiring based on diversion and inclusion, you look at why do people who are diverse not seeking out experience and education in those fields before you start hiring them in drones without prior qualifications? Maybe if you actually tackle to figure out why they're not even interested in that field before being, offered money, that would be a great start.
Diversity remains a priority and asset across all of our companies' endeavors, which now is going to be how to handle layoffs because of how badly Unknown 9 Awakening failed. But you can see here that they are a member of the Canadian Center for Diversity and Inclusion. And they are also based out of Montreal. Now, anytime you hear a company really based in Canada, but especially in Montreal, you almost have to assume they are partnered with Sweet Baby, and that's exactly what happened with Unknown 9 Awakening. They posted this as an entry for the Shorty Awards, and you can see in the entry credits, ding, 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 David Bedard and Kim Belair, the co-founders of Sweet Baby. That is prominently displayed right here for everyone to see at the beginning of the entry credits. It is a very, very weird thing to see these companies continuing to work with Sweet Baby. Now, when Sweet Baby
I'm wondering, what are the chances that they don't even have a say in it?
got involved with this project, it might have been years ago, but still, the fact that anyone would proudly display that they partnered with this woke consulting firm shows they have no pulse on what gamers actually think and actually want. And as you can see,
Yeah, I mean, a person who is not interested in games or plays games or, even enjoys the gaming culture, how would they consult on something that they have zero idea on?
Sweet Baby continues to fail upwards. There is a rumor out there that
Wasn't she the chick that all she did was look at fanfics, not safe for work fanfics of Bowser, that's all?
Bro, what?
as a result of everything that happened in 2024, all of the disastrous PR for Sweet Baby, it cost them no contracts. They have lost 0 contracts as a result of all of this failure they've been connected to. In fact, it is rumored that they're working on about 30 games. And honestly, I've heard from other sources that the total number of games they're working on could be as high as 70 or 80. It's absolutely mind-blowing how much they continue to fail upwards. They basically destroy every single game they're a part of. Every single game that has their name attached to it fails. They've had studios that shut down after collaborating with...
I don't even blame Sweet Baby Inc. at this point. You could blame them at the beginning, but now you have to blame every single person who ever works with them because they keep putting money towards them. They see what they're doing. They see how many games they're tanking and how many studios they're tanking, and they keep throwing money at them. So the blame, quite frankly, at this point is purely on the people who keep giving them money.
Sweet Baby. It's an absolute disaster, and Reflector Entertainment is just another example of that. And yet, the industry continues to award them, and it's absolutely mind-boggling that this still happens. But let's look at the statement from Reflector and Bandai Namco about this whole failure of Unknown 9 Awakening. So here's the official post from their CEO posted on LinkedIn saying this. Today, I informed our teams that I made the decision to not greenlight further work on a future project that was in conceptualization phase and thus terminating this development line. Continuing this project would not have been sustainable for the future of the studio. Regrettably, this also means that there will be redundancies following this decision. This decision correlates directly with the failure of the studio's ambitious and courageous first project, a new IP with a rich transmedia universe. The performance of the release didn't come near the company expectations after numerous timeline adjustments and investments, both financially and other, and didn't warrant any further exploration in this universe. Unfortunately, this also affects back office staff, bringing these support teams in line with the single project approach the studio will adopt for the immediate future, where possible staff will be assigned to this project based on an existing Bandai Namco IP, which is shaping up very well. Reflector Entertainment will be providing adequate severance packages, extended health benefits for affected staff and their families, continued access to...
I mean, it all sounds like Reflector did not even think through, how about we just test the waters first, see how people react to it before we tank every single cent we have. Like, it honestly, to me, it just sounds like they made the most brain-dead decision to just keep throwing money on it, and it will just stick.
To emotional, mental health, and counseling services, and finally, proactive career planning support to set them up for future success. Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe will continue investing on creating Western content for global audiences in line with the group's vision.
So it's specifically Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe. There's such a disconnect happening between like the West and the East.
There's always been a disconnect.
Like, it's gonna be like the same company. Like, for example, Sony Japan has no idea what's happening with their other branches. Bandai Namco Japan has no idea what's happening with their other branches.
So yes, quite literally, this company has imploded. The franchise is dead. Unknown 9, the franchise connected to it, it's completely done. They've shut it down. The first installment of the franchise, Unknown 9 Awakening, was such an epic failure. They just said, we're cutting our losses, we're done. And even having to provide all these services and protections for employees who clearly are going to be laid off as a result of this disaster. Now, going back to the Fandom Pulse article here, they also mentioned there was a now deleted blog post where Reflector Entertainment General Manager Marc-Andre Seguin announced the company was reducing their staff by approximately 18% of Reflector's total workforce.
That's 18% is not even that much. I was under the assumption they'll be like cutting it by half after such an epic failure.
Saying this, as for why the layoffs were happening, he stated today's announcement isn't driven by commercial success or external pressures, but stems instead from our current reality, which is that, at this time, we cannot guarantee tangible work for all the talented individuals we employ. And he added, with the recent release of Unknown 9 Awakening and our two key production lines entering the early stages of development, we must make sure that our staff is laser focused on contributing to the projects that wholly benefit from their skill sets. So yeah, there's also a round of layoffs in a deleted post, which is kind of strange, but they are losing approximately 18% of their workforce. And again, none of this is really surprising when a game like that crashes and burns so hard. A game that clearly had a lot of money invested in, millions and millions of dollars, and yet it comes out and peaks around 200 concurrent players. It's just not acceptable, and obviously they're going to have layoffs and cut back as a result of this. But really, there's multiple factors, but again, you have another sweet baby project resulting in mass layoffs, a game flopping, and possibly a studio facing the end, because this looks really, really bad. And obviously Bandai Namco is licking their wounds and trying to recover from this horrible, horrible acquisition.
Okay, I don't think they have mentioned what kind of projects they're putting them on, but I'm assuming they'll be putting them on existing IPs just to, let people keep their jobs so they actually learn what they need to do. That I might be completely wrong, but that's how it sounds to me.
Of Reflector that has not panned out even in the smallest sense that they had intended when they made the purchase.